Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Catalina Gillies. Only one new case of COVID-19 was reported today by the Thunder Bay District Health Unit. But for the second day in a row, no cases were reported in Thunder Bay and the surrounding area. This is just the second time since early November of last year that this has occurred. The lone case of undetermined origin is linked to an area First Nation. There are now 23 active COVID-19 cases in the Thunder Bay District, the lowest total since May 27th. The district has now been in single digits for 11 straight reporting days. There were no new deaths and no cases tied to variants of concern identified. A total of 3,242 cases are now considered resolved. Every day, more and more people across the Thunder Bay District become fully vaccinated. But the health unit is reminding people that Father's Day weekend that gathering restrictions are still in effect, even for those who've received 2 shots.
Regardless of somebody's vaccination status, we would be recommending the same thing. As we move forward, we might get more nuanced in terms of what people could do if they're fully immunized. But for now, we just recommend people abide by those same measures that we've always had. So, first of all, abide by the law that we, in terms of gatherings and gathering size. Stick with largely with your household only, especially if you're indoors. There are opportunities to gather outdoors under step 1, and so people could be. And certainly if you can have and do something outside, that is safer than doing things inside.
Federal Health Minister Patty Hajdu received her second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine this afternoon at the CLE Coliseum. Hajdu said her shot was painless and gave a big thank you to the Thunder Bay District Health Unit for such a professional experience with everyone immunizing. With Hajdu getting AstraZeneca for her first shot and a Pfizer dose for her second, she says she isn't concerned about mixing doses and she has confidence in the research and science being done on behalf of all of us.
And like me, I had AstraZeneca for my first dose. Obviously, people who are still awaiting their second dose will now have an option for an mRNA or AstraZeneca in certain provinces or territories. And that's the great news. The great news is we do have options and that each of these vaccines are effective at protecting us from the spread of COVID.
The minister says they are working on new rules for people who are fully vaccinated, but since the country is still in a fragile state, they want to proceed slowly and cautiously. In light of the recent discovery of hundreds of children remains at residential schools across the nation, some Canadian residents are canceling this year's July 1st celebrations. Jackie Perez has more.
Happy Canada Day!
As Canada prepares to turn 154 in a matter of weeks, calls to cancel this year's festivities grows across the country. Some have chosen to hit pause on July 1st.
It was a personal choice for us as a committee.
For nearly a decade, Canada Day events in Prince Edward County were run by volunteers like Jennifer Litke. But after the recent discovery of the remains of 215 Indigenous children in Kamloops, BC, Litke says now is a time to reflect.
We want to be part of that growth and progress.
A similar feeling for the owner of Mary Dairy, who will be closed come July 1st. She says conversations about Canada's history need to be discussed.
I didn't learn about it when I was younger, and I think by having those conversations, we can start to heal.
They'll be making a donation to a local Indigenous organization on June 21st and asking nearby residents to create messages of hope on their window to raise awareness about Canada's past.
A lot of people love their country, which is good because Canada is a beautiful country. Canada is a very diverse, beautiful country, but sadly it has a really harsh truth behind it.
Indigenous activist Amanda Kennedy says even though Canada is turning 154 this July, it's a different feeling for Indigenous people.
That's celebrating genocide and assimilation of Indigenous people.
Instead of the usual massive celebrations on Parliament Hill, Ottawa's event is scheduled to be held virtually for a second year due to the pandemic. In a statement, the Ministry of Canadian Heritage says they recognize for many, Canada Day is not an occasion to celebrate. It's an opportunity to reflect and understand the ongoing impacts of our past. How Canadians choose to spend Canada is unique to everyone and can be as diverse as our people.
As long as we keep having these open conversations about this, then I think that's where we can all learn, heal, and grow together.
Jackie Perez, CTV News.
Thunder Bay City Council has unanimously passed a motion condemning acts of violence against racialized people and committing to work toward reconciliation with guidance of the city's Anishinaabe Elders Council and the Anti-Racism Committee. The motion came from current River Councillor Andrew Folds. It came about in the wake of the horrific discovery of a mass grave at a former residential school in BC and the terrorist attack in London, Ontario that left 4 Muslim family members dead and a 9-year-old boy in hospital.
I think we were all shocked by the events, either the discovery in Kamloops or the events in London. These kinds of things are tragic and shocking, and there's a tremendous amount of trauma, and there are people that have been significant.
Folds adds it's important for council to support the organizations working to combat hate and discrimination in our city and across the country. Another Thunder Bay nonprofit organization is a recipient of the latest donation of face masks from a local car dealership. Dominion Motors has donated 2,000 masks to the local Salvation Army. The donation is for the Journey to Life Center, and masks will be used by both staff and residents of the building.
Well, we just received a big donation of 2,000 masks from Dominion Motors that we're just very thrilled about.
Well, we were given an opportunity to allocate masks to different causes in Thunder Bay, and we knew that the Salvation Army would be a worthy one.
Dolcetti says Dominion Motors is also donating another 4,000 face masks to senior living centers. A drive-in movie theater in the municipality of Nebing is back up and running for a second year. The new owner of Interstellar Outdoor Cinema says after several delays due to lockdowns and other issues, their first film of the season is set to go tonight. Ken Jones is also the owner of Funtastic Castles, and he's now got another inflatable attraction for his customers, a 30 by 17-foot projection screen. Jones purchased the equipment from the original owner a few months ago, and he's excited to welcome movie lovers back to the site of his corner at the site of Cloud Lake Road and Highway 61. It opens tonight with Hobbs and Shaw, followed by Raya and The Last Dragon on Sunday night.
We're trying to do 3 or 4 movies per week out here, starting Thursday to Sundays, and it'll be out when it gets dark. And it's out in nature. You can see around. We've got nature all over the place here, and it's a perfect setting for having a movie.
Jones also plans to take the pop-up screen around the Northwest, with bookings already set for Atikokan, Terrace Bay, Hornpain, and Manitouwadge throughout the summer. Some young local residents were happy to get outside today with the reopening of another city amenity. Splash pads officially opened up for the public, and Mitchell Ringos was there to capture the excitement.
Another city amenity of the reopening plan started today as splash pads were once again available for the public, with a list of 10 rules to follow to keep the community safe. The splash pads were one of the first steps in the reopening plan following the recent reopening of some campgrounds and outdoor patios, with some outdoor pools, beaches, and summer camps opening up in the near future. Norm Gale, city manager, said that they are working hard to reopen city services and amenities following the province's announcements to enter Step 1 earlier than expected in accordance with provincial restrictions. I caught up with locals at the splash pad to see just how excited they were that the splash pads were finally open and that Step 1 was underway.
I'm very happy because he's been so bored and there's been nothing really for him to do, so we're really happy that it's here now.
I think it's actually wonderful because I practically grew up in a splash pad, and I love the water, and I think it's a great opportunity for all those kids out there who really like to swim and have fun.
Yeah, I think it's great. It's a wonderful place for families to come down and enjoy the beautiful weather in the summer, so hopefully you can get outside.
The splash pads had a maximum capacity of 100 people and will be open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the public to enjoy. The splash pads that did open include Prince Arthur's Landing, County Park, Franklin Street, and North End. and there wasn't too many people to come out to the splash pads for opening day because of poor weather. But as soon as the weather does improve, these splash pads are sure to be full again. Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
Join now with Avery McRae. Avery, the Blue Jays looking to turn their luck around.
Yeah, they have not looked good as of lately, Catalina. Trying to ride that ship today, but didn't get off to the great